Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Fade the Noise. Happy 4th of July to those of our viewers that are in the United States. If you're not familiar with the background, it's the day that we rebelled and took up arms against England/the UK. Everything's weird. It's gone horribly since. 2025 is really, really weird. So we're going to just dive on in, but have your drinks, light your fireworks. I hope you enjoy the weekend. We've got Joe with us. He is the CEO of Moneyline Hacks, the sponsor of this show, owner of a very successful Discord channel. Joe, how's your week going? How's your day?
Doing good, doing great. Happy Independence Day, everyone. Last week we killed UFC once again, killing tennis, killing the Jersey game. So, we're doing good.
Yes, sir. I did forget to mention that this is the anniversary, the date that Will Smith saved the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put
Independence
some
Day, never
respect on his
forget.
name, or he might slap you.
And we've got Aaron, resident football and baseball expert. Aaron, how's your week going? How's your day? You got any fun plans?
Well, we had plans, but it is pouring over here, so kind of just waiting for it to pass. Power cuts in and out here and there. All my stuff plugged up.
Wow, I didn't know your power was cutting out, man.
I mean, it's not gonna affect me here, but yeah, it's just kind of shitty morning weather-wise. I'll be
Okay.
at the lake
Well,
tomorrow, though.
yes, sir. That sounds like an amazing celebration. And if you happen to get bored when we're done with the show and you let a firework get wet, minus the wick, and light it, please let me know what happens because I'm extremely curious. If it just explodes, if it fires off like normal, I don't know. And I don't know what kind of fireworks you have, but just if you do anything weird, I'd like to hear about it.
I got you.
Cool. Thank you. Very much appreciated. Let's start off by recapping last weekend, UFC 317. It sounded like an absolute banger of an event. So many things to talk about. We're going to focus on some of the stuff we covered in the last episode, how it turned out, and some potential future stuff. So let's start off with the Royval versus Van fight, because I think that was a shock to everyone. People are saying it's a fight of the year contender. Joe, what are your thoughts on that?
It was a great fight. I don't think it was maybe fight of the year, but I do think that Van put it on Royval. It wasn't as back and forth as a fight of the year contender should be, so I'm giving it to Van. I think he showed up short notice. I think he was ranked 13, fighting number 1 ranked Royval, and he beats the dude. This dude just beat Brandon Moreno, the former champion, and Van beat him. So that's I know MMA and math doesn't always work, but that's a good sign for Van. He's already beating the elite competition at the age of 23. If he gets the next title shot against Pantoja and he wins the belt, he becomes the second youngest fighter behind John Jones to win that UFC belt. That's just amazing. 23 years old. And I think he'll be the same age as Jones, or he'll be 24 at that time should he win that belt. So he'll still be the same age as Jones, just give or take a few months. That's why he's in second. But man, that's just amazing. Jones did set that record 16 years ago, 15 years ago. So it just shows you how hard it is for that to be beaten. I've actually been waiting to see if there's a guy that could even come close. And if Van just getting a title shot at the age of 23, that's close. So I'm excited to see that fight. Pantoja will fight him different. He's not going to be boxing Van. It's going to be a good one. So love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And honestly, I think it's kind of crazy. I didn't realize he was that young. I was going to ask you, we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I was going to ask you about their age gap. And I just looked up the relative ages for, he's so young. And I feel like a lot of the top competition in the division is significantly older. And it's not that that's a hindrance. It's more just a turning over of the guard. And I think that's incredible. And I read a couple articles about that fight and saw a lot of people said that they did not have Van winning that fight, and it was a surprise. Is there anything in particular that you saw from Van that made you believe in him in terms of becoming a champion?
Yeah, I mean, just his poise, fighting a number 1 contender. I'll be the first one to say we weren't on Van. That was one of the few we lost. Van, we were on Royval. I thought the value was great. I thought Royval was going to be a little too much for him. I thought he just had a little too much experience. He was going to be able to control the pace and just win a close decision. But I thought he was going to win a unanimous decision and just set the pace. But Van didn't let him at all. Van just came in. He was still fought his fight, was aggressive. And usually when you take a large step up like that, you get uncomfortable during the fight. Van didn't get uncomfortable. So to really tell how Van is, we need to see him uncomfortable again. We need to see Pantoja give him some different looks, and then we have to see how Van adjusts. It's going to be a different fight with Pantoja, but just seeing that Van was able to just continue working on his striking, his dominance, and hang with Royval showed me that you cannot fight Van like that. He has some hands. Van has hands.
Van's hands, yes,
Van's
sir.
hands.
Aaron, I know you're a huge fan of Van. The rhyming is almost grating on me at this point, but I can't help it. So I know you're a huge fan of Van. What were your thoughts on the fight, the result? And please just remind me personally, I can't remember. You were on Van last week when we recorded, right?
Yeah, but I didn't bet it. I didn't I was rooting for him, you know.
That's fine.
It's impressive though. Short notice. He's so confident, you know. He's I mean, I had to pull it up afterwards just to make sense of it. I had to pull it up again just a minute ago, but he's what was it? 400? Yeah, 467 strikes Royval threw. That's a lot of volume to dodge, you know?
My lord. Yeah, I did not know that.
And to just jump in there and take it, he's just a dog, man. That's all I wanted to see. I didn't bet on it, but it's like, dude, oh my God, he won.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, betting on someone you're a fan of is always a tricky deal as a Cowboys fan, even as a UT fan, honestly. Just maybe it's a Texas thing, just constant disappointment. But we'll move on. So then we also had a championship showdown, Pantoja versus Kai Kara France. We all know how that fight turned out. I think a lot of people were disappointed in the level of competition. Joe, we'll go to you again first. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, Pantoja versus Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France just didn't ever look comfortable fighting Pantoja. Pantoja says he should be at least number 2 pound for pound. He doesn't think anyone but Islam has the track record to even top him. Then Topuria tops Islam and becomes number 1 pound for pound. So he's definitely not going to be number 2 because Islam's 2 now. But the good part is that Pantoja did move up to number 5 on the pound for pound list. He moved up like 6 spots. He was somewhere around 11 before. So he was right there by Tom Aspinall and Dricus Duplessis. But I think that is where he should be. Pantoja's a bad man. And I know we love Van's hands and we're a fan of Van's hands, but I don't know. Pantoja has more than hands. He's one of the most well-rounded fighters in that division. He could take it. He could stand with great fighters on the feet. He could take it down. He could submit you. He could control you the whole fight. He's just a nightmare to fight. He's one of those fighters that's just good everywhere, high IQ, and that's why he's a champ. He's going to be very hard to beat. You can't just beat him with one part of your game. You got to beat him the whole fight through every part of the fight, every position. I don't know who has that skill set at this point. Kai Kara France certainly didn't. Just came out flat. Couldn't really get his striking off. He did the little, that didn't work. So I don't know. Kai Kara has to go back to the drawing board. He has some impressive wins. He's beat some high level fighters, but it's just Pantoja's time right now.
Okay. And yeah, I just looked it up. Kai Kara's 32. He's older than I thought he was. While we're on the topic, Pantoja is older than I thought he was. At 35, I don't remember. I just remember, watching the fight with you a month or two ago, and Dustin Poirier did his whole thing. Oh, it was when Volkanovski got his belt back. And for those of you who don't know, Volk's my hero because he's short and bald, used to weigh a lot, so he's my aspiration. But Poirier was talking about that. What is it? That record or rule where, like, if you're 35 or 36 and older, you have a horrible record at, I don't know if it's reclaiming the belt or winning the belt in the first place.
Yeah, no, it's. I don't even know if it might revolve around the belt. I just know the champions have been losing at 35, but I think it might also be more specific to the welterweight division.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a I don't think it's across all weight classes. I think specifically the welterweight division. I think Usman lost it at 35. I think Leon Edwards lost it around 35. Covington sucks now. He's around 35. Woodley, I think he was over 35. He was like 38. But yeah, it's just lately 35-year-olds have been declining in the UFC, particularly in the welterweight division.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Well, I lost my shit at 30 and I'm 34, so I'm not judging anybody.
We're still going
I just
strong out here.
I'm gonna point out they asked Van about this, and he does not seem to be surprised whatsoever that he's number one. He said, "My takedown defense is on point. We'll see if it lasts 5 rounds. I'm Joshua Van. I don't fight like these guys." Now they talk a lot of shit. We'll see what happens. You can't go in there with anything less than complete confidence in yourself. So I think that'll be a very entertaining matchup. Let's skip to the main event from last week. I'm sure everybody knows what happens. Topuria is a man of his word, and that's coming from somebody who idolizes Volkanovski, watched him get knocked out after Topuria said he was going to do that. I thought it was devastating, and I thought Topuria was an asshole. But you know what? He's the real deal. He might even be in the new GOAT conversation. Before we jump to Joe for the in-depth analysis, Aaron, what do you think about Topuria? Last fight, future, general vibes?
Man, I didn't want it to happen that fast, but that's kind of what I was feeling what was going to go down. I mean, he hit the button. It's like, well, I guess this is over. We can go about our night now.
That sleep button?
Yeah, it was great though. I mean,
God,
I'm
that's
excited
rough.
to see the future of all that. That's
So what do you think? What do you think about Topuria? Not just as the champion of that division. You think he's going to end up in the Islam fight? What do you see happening here?
he'd have to fight first, but he'd have to fight somebody first. I feel like still, I feel like he needs one
Yeah.
more, maybe two more fights, one for sure. Man, I don't know. I was thinking about that. I'm not keen on all the rankings and all that stuff. You know, thinking about that, putting them together with fighters, but it's gonna be a lot more ground based. If anything, next fight it
Yeah.
better be because I want to see a lot more of that. I mean, that's all I can say. I don't know which fighter, but before he wants to go for it all, I just feel like I want to see how he is on the ground with somebody who's going to put him there.
That's fair. Thank you. Yeah, I completely agree with you. He's going to have to fight at least once before he gets the Islam matchup he desires, if he ever gets it. And yeah, he needs to be challenged by somebody who has a very good ground game. Personally, I think Topuria is the real deal. I've forgiven him for knocking out who I want to be in 2 years. And I really just hope that it feels like things are extremely exciting again, you know? I know Connor talks some shit, and that's a very Connor thing to do. But you know what? You're out of the game. All right. It's this dude's turn. Joe, what do you think about Topuria? Not just his last fight, his overall swag, his future in the UFC, potential to fight Islam. Is he in the GOAT conversation? Just lay it on me.
Yeah, so Topuria is one of my new favorite fighters, if not my favorite active fighter, period. He's a future GOAT, in my opinion. I think he's going to be, whether it just be the weight class or up there with GSP, John Jones, Demetrius Johnson, above Khabib, because Khabib only had 3 title defenses. You can't be a GOAT with 3 title defenses. I think he's going to be above that level. Like, I am so high on Topuria, and I've been very high on him. But after he knocked out Max Holloway and Volk, I would just, that's all I needed to see. I don't need to see much more of his ground game because I've been following Topuria for a very long time. He's already fought people like Bryce Mitchell, who are just dogs on the ground, who have amazing submissions, and he submitted Bryce Mitchell. Before Bryce Mitchell started falling off, Bryce Mitchell was like 15-0 or 15-1, and Topuria beat that version of Bryce Mitchell and made it look easy on the ground. He has amazing.
No idea. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. So he's already been tested on the ground. The only thing we would need to see is to see him fight like a Dagestani wrestler like Islam. But I think he gets through Islam as well. He's just too good. He's good everywhere. There's a reason why he's number 1 pound for pound king now. I think Islam won't be able to get those takedowns, and he has the power that he has could nullify any, like, it'll make Islam think about about getting in his range like that. Like what Islam has to do is press you up the cage, put pressure, apply pressure, change levels multiple times, and get you down through multiple levels of takedowns. Topuria's not going to let him do that. I don't think he's going to be punching him. It's kind of like how when Volk fought Islam the first time, he was very on it. Islam couldn't take him down. Even the second time, he wasn't really going for the takedowns. That's why he knocked Volk out. I think that's going to be how Topuria fights Islam, but he has the power to stop Islam. And like you said, yeah, Conor, he's not in the game anymore right now, even though he wants to fight at the White House in 2026. But he, Trump, President Trump just announced him fighting a UFC event at the White House, and Conor McGregor chimed in wanting to fight, but so did 50 other UFC fighters. Everyone wants to fight at that event. So
God bless America.
Yeah, and although Topuria has some of McGregor's tattoos or is influenced by McGregor, and it's not a McGregor copy. He's a completely different fighter, a higher skill level fighter overall, and Topuria is just here to stay.
Yeah, a McGregor copy would be that video you sent me of the guy that had the same tattoos getting bounced off the canvas.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so funny. That's crazy. I agree with most of what you said. I can't wait to see what they decide to do next. Even though none of my friends appreciated it, I sent a GIF of like the 3 Spider-Mans doing the whole thing, and I was thinking like Sarukian, Gaethje, and Patty, because Topuria had that face off with Patty. Sarukian was extremely upset. Lightweight division is hot again. Go ahead.
I don't know. The only fight that makes sense right now, you have to give Armin Sarukian and Ilia Topuria. They have to fight. The biggest fight is Patty versus Topuria. The most fair fight is Sarukian versus Topuria. So have Patty fight Justin Gaethje on the same card as Ilia Topuria and Sarukian headlining. It's kind of like a mini tournament. They do this all the time. This better be what the matchmakers come up with, because there's absolutely nothing better. After that night, if Patty beats Justin Gaethje and Ilia beats Sarukian, which I think would happen for both fights, then Patty Pimblett fights Ilia Topuria early next year, or if you really want to build it up during International Fight Week next year in the summer. So that's what we should make.
So far away. Go ahead, Aaron.
Sarukian has reportedly offered Topuria $1 million and a car of his choice from his collection in exchange for a title shot 3 hours ago.
Why? That's like
Sarukian's rich. He has family money. He's been rich. He doesn't even need to fight.
Yeah, I saw DC got a lot of heat for talking about that, saying that Topuria came from money.
Yeah, and then the next clip showed Topuria, an old video interview of Topuria talking about how he had 4 jobs and
he got a sugar mama.
Yeah, but Sarukian, on the other hand, he's just chomping down on caviar clumps, just yum, just chomping it down. There's a video of that too.
Hell yeah, Pac-Man style.
Pretty much.
But still, I feel like that actually hurts your reputation. Don't be offering, $1 million in a car to the champion to fight you when you are literally justifiably the next person in line. That's insane. But you know what? Yeah. It's not either of their decisions. That's ultimately the problem. We'll see what the UFC decides to do. Personally, I'm hoping to add on to Joe's suggestion for having those 2 fights happen on the same card. Throw Pantoja versus Van on top of it. Why not? There is a reason why not. I know it's not going to happen. It would just be really cool.
It could.
I don't know, 2 title fights plus that lightweight bout. That's just a lot of heat on the same card.
It happens. It's a good card. They need to hire us to matchmake.
I was going to say, I'll call Hunter after this is done.
Hit up your boy Hunter.
Right. We've got no UFC coming up this weekend. Ultimate Fighter's on if you're into reality TV or watching egos on television. Dana White's Contender Series is starting soon, though. There will be picks for that in the Moneyline Hacks Discord. It took a while to figure that one out. But I remember last year we had a really good year, right, Joe?
Yeah, last year was damn good, just because for the first time ever last year they let us have the full book for Contender Series. Before that we didn't have the full book, so we only could do money lines and parlays, and a lot of the money lines were blown up, and it's just weird with Contender Series. But props are good a lot of times. It starts in August, and if you guys don't know what the Contender Series is, it's basically every Tuesday there's going to be live fights for about 5 fights every Tuesday, and the winners get a contract to get into the UFC as long as they were exciting or they put their heart on the line and just went out there and fought. The guys that do lay and pray and don't want to fight and run away and point fight, usually they don't get a contract even if they win. So Tuesdays, you really are looking forward to these fights because you know these fights are generally exciting because these guys want to get a contract. So that starts August 4th, I believe. Make sure you're tuned in, you're watching us. We are going to cover it all. We're going to follow it as a group in the Moneyline Hacks Network Discord. So make sure you're tuned in for that.
Thank you. And yeah, if there's ever anything related to Moneyline Hacks or this podcast, lay and pray is my new favorite phrase, and I want to name something that. I've never heard it before. I think it's awesome, and I want to use it for something. I don't know
Yeah.
what yet.
Probably like you lay down some money and you pray you win it or something, but we'll figure that out.
That's even better. Awesome. Cool. So I think we're all good. Before we continue on to boxing, just I know we've been on this for a little bit. Aaron, anything to add about Topuria or the whole lightweight title situation?
That's man. That's it.
Okay. I'll take it.
I'm rooting them on.
All right. Yes, sir.
No bet.
All right.
Nothing. That's it.
There's nothing wrong with that. We'll quickly cover a couple of other things before we dive into today's MLB slate. First up, we've got Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fought, and then I know there were picks for that in the Moneyline Hacks Discord. I think you had Jake by decision, right?
Yeah, we had Jake going a decision. That was the easy one. I thought he would get a knockdown. That didn't happen.
Excellent. Well, this is probably one of his toughest tests to date. And then I was shocked when I knew I'm not a huge Jake Paul fan. Honestly, I think it's a gimmick, but so I tend to not bet on it. But anyway, then I see an ESPN notification saying Chavez got picked up by ICE and DHS had him in custody. So happy Freedom Day, everybody. It's crazy.
They said he had connections to the cartel.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, that's the reason they are deporting him expeditedly.
They meaning the government?
Yes, ICE and the government.
No, he ain't part of a cartel. Whatever.
You guys go way
So-
back.
That's crazy. We had earlier we had the hot dog eating contest. Joe, you said there was a pick for that, right? Or was it a parlay or
It
something?
was just something I threw out in VIP. You know, we're chatting. One of the guys was chatting, asking if there's any picks for the hot dog contest. I saw a lock of a parlay piece, which was Joey Chestnut to eat at least 65 hot dogs. Looks like he ate 70. And that was minus 400, so that was a perfect parlay piece. So we cashed that. He didn't hit his record of 76 hot dogs, but he got 70 on the dot, 10 minutes, which is just wild. And they're always so skinny.
Yeah. Once again, God bless America, because apparently
crazy.
skinny dudes eat 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes in this country. Well, speaking as a larger man, I can't do that. It's a very weird competition, but you know what? Take the money where you can get it. A lock is a lock, especially on a parlay leg. Joe, is there anything else over the weekend you saw or anything else you wanted to talk about before the MLB slate?
Yeah, so we also saw Power Slap. That was last week. I put out a few plays for that in the Discord. I think it went 2-2. But yeah, we're doing all the combat sports. If you like the little niche sports like Power Slap and hot dog eating, we do that. So we like to keep it interesting, like to keep it fun. Power Slap 14, I believe, is next month. So we'll do another one then. And as far as, we're leading into MLB as our next segment, we're going to give out a few good picks. Me and Aaron are going to break down the games, give out our leans, and then it'll be followed by best bets. So let's go on to an MLB topic leading into that. Luis Ortiz, pitcher, under scrutiny for unusual pitch patterns. I think it's 2 games dating back to a couple months ago. So, and not even 2 games, it's 2 pitches for each game. So I think there was only 2 pitches that were flagged as suspicious. And so now they're investigating him. So I really hope, that he didn't, isn't part of any gambling ring where he's doing fraud and shaving points with his pitches. But it's something we're going through as sports bettors because it's so legal now. It's online everywhere. So now we have these high-level athletes and even low-level athletes doing this, and even coaches like James Krause from the UFC who got banned. So it's terrible. It's the dumbest thing I think you could do as a millionaire, especially making money doing your dream. Hopefully he gets cleared and Luis Ortiz didn't do any of that. But yeah, right now he's under a lot of scrutiny and the integrity of baseball is being checked.
That's rough, man. I don't know. I was reading up on it. It seems like, with 2 pitches in question, like no one wants to see me throw out a first pitch at a game. It's going to go crazy. But apparently the thing in question is the betting activity that happened in relation to those pitches. I don't know. I agree with you. You're a multimillionaire. Why? Why would you risk that, Aaron, what do you think? I know the integrity of baseball has been questioned before. You're a lifelong fan. What are your thoughts on the latest controversy?
I mean, you can only look into it so much right now, obviously. I was curious, tried to find some sort of rabbit hole. But I mean the pitches were like way off. Or one of them. I saw one of them. It was like a ball for sure. A few batters probably would have swung at it. Granted, they're swinging at everything. It's just kind of weird. It's definitely, I don't know, it's possible, I guess. But at the same time, you look at his numbers and stuff, and he's at 96 Ks versus 42 walks and 88 and 2/3 innings this season. I mean, it's not like he's not walking. I know I don't know. I'm curious how he comes out of it. Because I think as a baseball player, you're not allowed to bet on any quote unquote diamond sport, whether it's women's, college, whatever, pros, nothing. You can bet on sports, just not baseball. So I don't know. I'm definitely tuned in to the whole story and curious to see what happens. Because like I said, they were kind of blatantly balls, but at the same time, I mean, what if you bet the first pitch of an inning to be a strike and he threw that? Like what if the ball slipped?
That's my thought too. That's the
You're
problem,
talking about
though.
2 different pitches and 2 different games too. I mean, calm down.
I don't know
Joe?
why. I don't know why Aaron bringing up that strike bet reminded me of the time where I made the craziest bet on accident I've ever made in my life. And when we used to both work together at the same place, Eric, you remember it just by his
I remember it.
Yeah. So, I didn't have much money back then, and I put all pretty much my whole account on accident. It was supposed to be a $30 bet, but it turned into $1,000 bet on the next pitch to be a strike. It was like 1,500 on the next pitch to be a strike. I won that bet and saved myself going to a mental institute, but that was the dumbest bet I've ever placed, and it was an accident. I was too frantic trying to get it in and got in my whole bankroll pretty much at the time. So, I was a few years back, 2021, I believe, but hey, we're good now. Bankroll's healthy and we're doing good.
Yeah, I was salty because you're like that with NFL too. Joe just has good luck. Like those next drive bets, like how the drive will end or whatever the case might be, how many receptions a person gets. Like I will pick what in my head is objectively the most likely outcome and lose every time. And Joe's like, I think that this is going to turn into an interception that goes back for a pick six. It's plus 1,000 and it hits. I'm just like, all right, I give up. I'm not doing this anymore.
Hey, it's better be lucky sometimes.
That's 100% true. Cool. So we talked about the gambling investigation. 2 pitches. I don't know. Balls slip. Good luck proving it. And nothing about it says that he actually had to bet on it himself to profit from it. We could have a Shohei situation here if he were
maybe
actually
he owed a bunch
guilty.
of people money.
Wink.
Shohei's innocent, all right?
I know he's innocent. That's why I said that. So yeah, we got that and Power Slap. It's a good way to make money. I think it's a really dumb way to get slapped in the face, but you know what? It exists and it's profitable. So come on into the Discord, try it out. We're gonna dive into the MLB slate for today. We've got Rangers Padres up first. Rocker and Vasquez. Moneyline's basically a pick 'em. Aaron, you want to kick us off?
I suppose so. It's my team, man. Rangers all day. I'd love to back them here. Kind of get what you get with Kumar Rocker. Maybe a couple home runs, contact maybe, but he's decent still. He's not terrible. He's last two starts around 3 ERA, 3.1, almost 3.2, I guess. 1.15 WHIP. He's got a high chase rate and his hard hit rate. Wow. Yeah, it's last game his hard hit rate was down, but he's only 5 inning pitcher, maybe four to five. I mean,
Small
it's
sample
tough.
size.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. Like, Padres bats aren't the hottest lately to me. They're not sitting super hot. It's kind of more like I'd love to back the Rangers, but I feel like the Padres bullpen is better than the Rangers today. I might be wrong, but I haven't moved on it. I just red, white, and blue. Go Rangers.
So time will tell. You don't have an
I
angle
mean,
on the game. It's you're watching as a fan.
I'm definitely rooting for the Rangers. I haven't even come across a line. I didn't even think about looking at this to bet it yet. What is it at?
Pick a money line, but I don't know if you thought anything about the total, run line, strikeouts. I don't know.
If I had to get behind anything, Randy Vasquez on the other side and Rocker probably giving up 2 or 3. I was thinking about the 8.5. I did write that down last night. I didn't really get to betting it, but I really like
Okay.
that. And it's got to be fireworks, man. 4th of July, you know?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it, Aaron. Joe, what do you got for us on Rangers Padres? Basically a pick 'em.
All right, so yeah, you're right. It is basically a pick 'em, not officially, but basically, we got the Rangers versus the Padres. Kumar Rocker for the Rangers, yes, for the Padres. Rocker enters with a 6.13 ERA, but don't let that fool you. He has a solid 8.4 K9 and 48% ground ball rate. So that plays perfectly in Petco Park. It's a pitcher-friendly venue. His stuff misses bats and limits fly balls, so it's a great formula against the Padres, especially starting at pitcher with a better ERA. Kind of balances that out. The Padres lineup often hunts power, but they rank 22nd in just runs per game, so I think it's a better matchup than we think. Like I said, Randy Vasquez looking decent on paper with a 3.84 ERA. But he's actually stumbled recently, allowing 4+ earned runs in 3 of his last 4 outings. His whip is 1.39 and it's trending the wrong way. His recent command has been spotty as well. So, yeah, it looks like the Padres bullpen, they also ranked 19th in ERA. They've blown 11 saves and they're holding just a 71.8 save rate. That spells troubles in the late innings, especially against the Rangers squad that's 7-3 on the road versus right-handed starters and thrives early in games. If you read between the lines of what I just said, you know what I'm going to pick. I'm not making any official picks here because I do have a best bet for this game. Wait until the end of this segment or wait until the end of this show and you'll see our best bet segment where we'll lock it in.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. And for all those watching at home, I am not a capper and I will be betting on the Rangers because I like danger. So up to the next game, we got White Sox at Rockies. Speaking from Denver, it is cloudy, warm, traffic's a nightmare. Sometimes the city's great, sometimes it sucks. We've got Hauser versus, I'm not even going to say it, and the White Sox are slight favorites. Joe, do you mind continuing being the next person? What do you think about White Sox Rockies?
Yeah, so for the White Sox versus Colorado Rockies, looks like today it's at Coors Field. The pitchers are Adrian Hauser for the White Sox versus Antonio Sensatella for the Rockies. So, basically welcome to Coors Field in July, where the baseballs fly. Add in this high altitude, summer heat, and the wind blowing out. We're looking for a pure run scoring conditions today. Hauser has amazing 1.9 ERA, just sparkling there. But his first start It's his first start here at Coors Field in 3 years. Even the elite arms tend to unravel up here. I say up here because I am up here in Mile High City, just not a mile, just got to stick with my roots. But you guys already know that. I say that 5 times a show. Adrian Hauser, he has a ground ball heavy style, and he can limit the damage if he stays sharp, but don't put all your eggs in that basket, that's for sure. Sensatella is a real concern. This dude is terrible, and we've been making money off of his under in the VIP. We've bet his under 2.5 strikes, under 3.5 strikeouts, and it's just been making us money. Sensatella, he has a 6.69 ERA, a 1.93 whip, just a 3.1 K9. Those numbers are literally alarming in every category. But at Coors, that's a fire alarm. It's even worse than alarming. Both bullpens, bottom 3 in ERA and whip. There's no safety net for Sensatella, especially, but none for Hauser either. So it's looking like a high-scoring game. I would also take the yes run in the first inning for this one.
Damn. All right. I'm going to make a note really quick at the bottom of my sheet here.
Yeah, forget the side.
While you take your note, I just look back at the Rangers bullpen, and they seem like they're all ready to go. So I'll probably
About the last game?
disregard what I said about the worrying about him late game.
So you're back in the Rangers?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. What do you got about White Sox Rockies? It sounds like it's going to be a shit show of epic proportions.
So yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm a White Sox fan, but I might be today. I think it's hard not to be at the price, but I feel like I can't just bet the White Sox like everybody else. It's kind of suspect considering.
Yeah.
I was just looking at it. There's, almost even amount of money now on both sides. Just a little more bets on the White Sox. So that's, I guess the line's it's not lying to me. But I like Hauser, man. I was backing Hauser the last few games, and I don't have a reason why I'm not going to back him again. He's one of the better pitchers, obviously, the White Sox have, and just the White Sox bats. I feel like you don't have to spend a lot of time talking about that. Not shit. But it's 4th of July. I'm trying to give people some kind of benefit of a doubt, you know. Hauser's going deep into games with 0 earn, 2 earn, 3 earn, 1 earn, 3 earn, 0, 0 versus the Mets, Seattle, Baltimore, KC, Texas, Toronto, the Giant. Is it a setup? And the White Sox bullpen is slowly getting better.
4th of July is not Christmas, man. I don't know about giving benefit of the doubt, but those stats you just rattled off sound great. Why do you think the odds are so close?
I don't know. White Sox bullpen let's go 30 days is 5 A, 13 WOBA. The xFIP is always high for White Sox, period, I feel like. But I don't know. They're not bad. They had Davis Martin in the little booth talking in that little interview. I like to get into those things, but I just see a good reason to back Hauser, man. I was thinking like they have a 6.5 last night for the first 5 under. When I woke up, it was a 6 this morning. So I bet the first 5 under 6 in here.
Okay. Yeah. Unders are rare in Denver, but honestly, it happens, especially because the lines are adjusted and that's what books do. So appreciate the insight. Let's get on to our final game. We've got Astros versus Dodgers, unless I'm mistaken. Isn't that a recent World Series repeat between what?
The
Cheaters and overspenders?
Yeah, the cheaters and the ones that win fairly by overspending.
Yeah, this is.
I can't argue with that. Well, Houston, represent. Just kidding. Houston sucks.
Yeah, forget the Astros, but yeah, go on, Eric.
No, I'm done. All you, man. What do you got to tell us about this game?
So we got the Astros versus the Dodgers. We got Lance McCullers Jr. on the Astros versus Ben Kasparius on the Dodgers. McCullers Jr. returns to Dodger Stadium, a place where he's historically shined. Unfortunately for me, he holds a career ERA of under 2, and he brings big game energy with elite postseason command. Don't underestimate the moment McCullers thrives under pressure. It's a good game for him to thrive in. We got Ben Kasparius. He's 6-2 with a 3.97 ERA. He's actually regressing. His advanced stats and his advanced ERA stat is hinting at regression. He's been hittable when his command fades, and Houston bats are bad when it comes to pitcher lacking swing and miss stuff. So and I don't mean the Houston bats are bad. I mean they're a bad matchup for the Dodgers pitcher today. So Yeah, it's not looking that good for the Dodgers today. The Dodgers bullpen, they rate 25th in HR9 allowed, giving up damaging contact in tight spots. Astros offense is thriving as a team. Cam Smith is also red hot and posting a .353 average, .977 OPS from the cleanup spot. Add in Jordan Alvarez, and this lineup has serious damage potential for tonight. I hate to say it, but the Astros spread plus 1.5 might be a good spot to look tonight. If you want to look at some player props, look at Cam Smith or Alvarez to record RBI or total bases, putting a little bit on that for plus money. Yeah, don't sleep on Houston tonight. McCullers has dominated in this exact setting before, and with Cam Smith and Alvarez producing, that plus 1.5 is a juicy value ticket under those alley lights.
Okay, yeah. Now I appreciate you telling the truth. Honestly, I remember looking up the Astros a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I don't know why in my head I was like, oh, I thought they were better than that. But now they have almost the same damn record as the Dodgers, and so I'm like, I don't know. If you were riskier person, would you consider the money line?
Yeah, for sure. Over the Dodgers money line's too juiced, and the Astros money line has value today. And the baseball
Okay.
spreads aren't the best anyway, so definitely would look at the money line for the Astros.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Aaron, what do you think from your non-Texas team to the Dodgers? How you feeling?
They did it to themselves, man. Not me. So the Dodgers, I like McCullers here. I like what he was saying. I like this big breaking ball pitcher, but the problem is like if he's not on, then he's way off. So he needs to stud it out here because I think Casparius doesn't really go deep into games. It's probably gonna be Dodgers bullpen day. See a lot of arms out of the Dodgers. I hope McCullers goes deep into the game. He's got a good advantage versus lefties over righties, considerably less. I had something pulled up. Right left split. 66 OPS versus lefties and over it's a 1.009 versus righties. So it's considerably different. There's a few lefties in the Dodgers, we know, but I expect him to go into the game and have him a night, maybe some Ks. I didn't want to get there with the Dodgers. And their bullpen is like number one in the last 30 days right now. I mean, 30 games. So I don't know why I'm not going to get there with the Astros. They're just boring to me, I guess, lately. But if I had
All
to pick
right.
a side, it would I'd probably just rock with Lance and take him. I don't know what his Ks are at, but he's
Looks
got
like
some
four
nice
and a
stuff.
half.
You should see some nice stuff tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. 4.5 seems to be the line. I actually, after you were talking about Casparius not going deep into games, I decided to check, and DraftKings doesn't even have his over/under listed, so that's always a red flag. Greedy,
He's
greedy
4 innings,
company.
5 innings, 3 innings, 4, 1, 2, 1, 1. He was a bullpen guy.
I imagine so. I was like, that's a lot of ones. All right. Cool. We'll see what happens then. Let's dive into our final segment for today, the Lock It In segment. Our experts will give you their best bets. These are picks that you can rely on. I have personally made a good amount of money off of them, and I bet like a wuss, so a good amount of money to me is like $20, but I will take it every single time. Let's start things off with Aaron. What are your best bets for the Lock It In segment?
I think I like that over 8.5, but I'm not gonna bet it for the best. I bet the Tigers today, man. Actually, I put 1.5 units on the Tigers already at minus 127. They're minus 133 now, but I think Reese Olson has been on a long enough leave and coming back. He's one of the better Tigers pitchers for me, especially to watch. I love watching his games. 4th of July, good day to come back. Good. That Detroit's gonna see Slade first. I like everything about that game. I don't know why the Tigers are low of a price, but I took the bait on that one. And then if I'm giving out another one,
Roll with it, man.
I think I'm on the
I'm all
Giants,
for it.
man. No, you know what? I bet it's up now. I was trying to get the Angels team total, but 3.5 was like minus 160 almost. So I like the over 4.5. The Angels team total plus 110. Honestly, that team's just working different. They're looking good. They're playing better. I think they're gonna play some ball today. Score 5 or more runs for me. at plus money too.
Sounds good.
Well, yeah, man. And the other guy, the pitcher for the other team, spells his name wrong. So I support that as well. Joe, what are we locking in for you for this happy 4th of July?
All right, so for lock it in today, I got 2 best bets. Best bet number 1, we're going with Aaron's team, Texas Rangers money line. They're gonna kill them today. Lock it in. We already talked about Rocker's elevated ERA, and it his solid K9, that 48% ground ball rate, which plays extremely well on a park like Petco. Meanwhile, Randy Vasquez is regressing, giving up 4+ ER in 3 of his last 4 starts. And those earned runs are getting earned. So, also the bullpen trust. Padres bullpen is volatile, 11 blown saves and a shaky 71% conversion rate, while Texas holds an edge in late game run prevention. Just seems like a recipe for that Rangers money line today to cash for us. And a near pick 'em. What do? We pick them. So best bet number 2, we got the White Sox and Rockies. I don't feel comfortable playing a side on that one, but I feel more than comfortable playing the over 11 runs today on that one. Like I said, July heat, thin air, wind blowing out to left center at Coors today, boosting run expectancy. It's the highest park factor in MLB today. We already told you about Sensatala, how trash he is as a pitcher. We got Adrian Hauser, and he has a respectable 1.9 ERA, but like I said, first start in 3 years at Coors Field. A minimum of 3 or 4 runs from each starter, then fireworks once the pens come in the later innings. This is a classic Coors cover spot.
Damn. All right. You convinced me. I'm putting it in my round robin for today. And I know we're approaching time, but really quick, do either of you have any comments on the Braves game? I saw Orioles and Braves are playing. It's Morton versus Strider. You don't have to answer, honestly. Just truly for personal reasons alone. That's a pretty big matchup in years past, and I thought I would ask if you had any thoughts. Aaron?
Uncle Charlie.
Old Uncle Charlie?
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at something to make sure.
You said it's Strider?
Yeah. Charlie Morton and Spencer Strider, Orioles Braves.
I mean, he's he averages over 1 strikeout per inning. So, and that's after he came back from an injury. And then Orioles, they're near the bottom in contact rate. Kind of sets them up to consistently miss the 18 outs mark. So you might want to do Spencer Strider over 17.5 outs. That's a angle I have for this. Maybe the under too. Under
Okay.
on the points combined.
Thank you.
Little worse against lefties as far as contact. Obviously, he gets his strikes and he goes his distance typically. His K rate was down last game. His hard hit was up. His hard hit has been up. Was at 50% versus Colorado, and it's dropped down to like 38 as of recent. But I don't know, man. It just seemed like a weird spot to be all over Spencer. I could see him going distance and stuff, but I actually already bet this morning the Orioles team total over 3.5. I think they can get that done.
Okay. Thank you. I know that wasn't planned. You didn't have time to research or anything, so I appreciate you adding that in. That's our show for today. Everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you have an amazing 4th of July, a great holiday weekend. Hopefully it's a long weekend for most of you. Stay safe, I almost said drink and drive responsibly. That would be bad advice. Drink responsibly and have a good time. Before we sign off, we got Joe and Aaron.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Don't text and drive. And yeah, like Eric said, drink responsibly, but fill it back up.
Hide the keys.
Yeah. All right. Everybody have a good one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Let's
Yes,
cash.
sir.